Okay, we're live. Okay, so I wanted to create, welcome. I wanted to create a part two video for the one I did 2 weeks ago about children's emotions, because I think it is really important to understand when you're doing this work, how you can then translate that into what your child could maybe work on. So there's obviously, if you watch the first part, it was all about working on you first. As a mom, as a parent, you need to work on you first before you can address whatever is kind of coming up or going on with your child. So, my kind of tips there on what we do and what I have found has worked for my 5-year-old. Haven't really dove much into it with my 3-year-old yet, but it is totally possible. I think as a parent, you can just kind of judge maybe where your kids are at and what they could handle at that age or that stage of life. Um, for a child who is maybe really stressed out or anxious with a lot of things, maybe start really small and just like slowly integrate this stuff in if it seems it's not resonating as much, but you know your child. So kind of start with whatever it is that you think they could start on first. So my kind of takeaways, and the easiest one is get a really like fun but also powerful deck of cards. So I love these decks. I have quite a few, but it just gives your child the opportunity to then like shuffle through the cards, pick one that they are needing, because I truly believe they pick the one that they're needing to read at the moment. If your child's not at the age to read, then obviously help them read it and keep reading it and like go over the words. So with my 5-year-old, like we would go over the words to make sure he can start to read them himself, and hearing it again, as we know in this work, repetition is really important. I have another one by Gabby Bernstein. Miracles Now. I like that one too. This one is really powerful though. I think it's called Fueling Your Joy. Yeah. But anyways, there are so many different card decks out there. I know I love Hay House. It's a publishing company, and like Gabby Bernstein, Wayne Dyer, they're all authors in that, and you can get really inexpensive card decks that are amazing from all of the authors that they have in their publishing institution. So start with that. I think that is a great way, and that's something tangible your child can then hold on to and read it throughout the day. If that doesn't resonate with them, because maybe it's like a very generic affirmation, then start by see what is coming up in your child. So for me, I can see that my oldest lacks confidence, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that he was maybe never shown how to be confident or how to be assertive in certain situations. And that's totally fine. Like he's 5, so he's more on the shy side, and he is our first child. So I find that kind of can be sometimes, um, yeah, sometimes a thing. But anyway, so we have actually created a personal affirmation for him. So when he's kind of feeling down on himself, or he's not good at something, or if something isn't working right that he's trying to do, we say like, I am awesome. So he has kind of created this, and with my help, obviously, to put the I am in there, because that is very crucial to affirming to your mind that you are whatever you say next after I am. So understanding, and I've give him a little bit of education around that. Like I am is a very powerful sentence, and then the word that comes next after that. So when he says like, I am not smart, I am silly, this doesn't work, like when he says something that is the I can'ts come up a lot, um we need to tell them, but not in a angry way, that this is not how you feel about yourself. It's just that you're frustrated at the situation. So that has been kind of a big thing we've been working on as well, is showing, first of all, that I am confident in myself, because again, they model and see exactly what we do. So if we are always shy and we pull away from situations, so as a mom, this kind of gets you out of your comfort zone even more as well. If we always say that, like, no, I'm not going to do that, or if they want to play soccer with you, if they want to do something that you normally don't do, or you think in your mind that you're not good at, but they want you to play, regardless if you're good at it or not, you have to do it. Like, that's what it comes down to. A big thing for me, and where I learned this, was my kids love going swimming. So when we're at a pool, a lake, wherever, they love going swimming. And usually, like, I will get in, but not always. So my biggest thing was, I only wash my hair, like, I don't know, twice a week maybe. And when it's curled, it stays curled for a couple days, right? So it's like the work of curling my hair and wanting it to stay that way has been something I like to do, because it's a lot less time for me in the long run. But I've not gone swimming out of the fact that my hair is going to get wet, which, saying it out loud sounds so ridiculous. So I want you to play around with this, because you might be doing something similar as well. As like, oh, well, mommy's not going to do that because of, like, you're going to make up some silly reason why, like, I just don't feel like going in the water, whatever you're going to say. But it's like, in your head, I like to play the game of, like, why not? My child wants me to go in, and it's like, why not? It's hair. It can be styled and washed and curled again and whatever else. So it's just like, yeah, just entertain them, right? Like, do something that gets you out of your comfort zone, because that is then showing your child that they can do something to get out of their comfort zone, or they can push themselves a little bit further if they're very hesitant or lack some confidence in doing something or trying something new. That's a big one for kids, right? So kind of ask yourself, play that little situation in your mind, or say it out loud of, like, well, mommy didn't want to go swimming because I didn't want to get my hair wet. And your child might laugh at you, and that's okay. But it's like, you need to understand that they're laughing because what you said sounds so silly. You're not going swimming because you don't want to get your hair wet. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So think about this when things come up with different situations with your child, and get in the habit of modeling that behavior, right? So I said on the last video, my kids don't necessarily see what I'm doing. I have very much made this quiet time for me in the morning. So if they do wake up, they know to go and do something. So I have my quiet when I'm studying. So they don't really see what I'm doing. I say I'm studying, but to them that really means nothing. So for me, it's modeling and showing again what I am working on. So affirmations. My son's not at the point that he could be writing out his own affirmations, but by all means, if your child's a little bit older or at the stage where they could write out their own affirmations, do it. Have them work on something when you're maybe working on your study, or change up, like, create a morning routine. We've now created our morning routines. If you haven't yet, I highly encourage that you do it, because that shifted a lot for me in this work. And I know a lot of the other clients and coaches feel the exact same way. Is you had to create some kind of morning routine to get you in the habit of actually doing this, and to then still leave you time if you're going to a 9 to 5 after this. It's like, be in the habit of time blocking, right? Like, as a mom, I think that's important. We need to do that. So then kind of do the same thing with your child. It's like, get up. Our new routine is we brush our teeth in the morning. So we get up and do that. And then trying to slowly take out some TV time, because I find those are the mornings that go into, like, meltdown mode. So yes, slowly integrating into what my son could do while I do my study time. Another one would be journaling if they're at the point again that they could write, but with you. So let's go back to some younger kids, because this is kind of the stages that I work with the most for moms, because I feel these are the hardest years of navigating your own self, of becoming a mom, and then navigating young children. So let's be the journal for them in a sense. So you could, again, go through and kind of ask them questions, which then encourage them to start elaborating on that question. So, kind of the exact same way of what we're going to do is you get asked a question in study club, or you have something that prompts you to then start journaling. You could be that journal for them and just allow them to open up, create that safe spot. So, if you have other siblings, try to have it that it's like bonding time for you and that one child, and not have any other noise and distractions going on. Because I know with my oldest, he is, again, very much like me, doesn't like distractions going on when he's trying to speak. So, create that space for them. You know your child, like I said, create that space and have that like time for you guys to then open up with each other. You can share a little bit of something, he can share a little bit, or she, and then have that space. And then another one would be kind of allow, maybe this is more of like into the family dynamic, allow some kind of a like mastermind, and don't call it that with your children because that's very confusing. Um, but just like a back and forth, like you add in different things, and again, assess where your child is at age wise and kind of see what could work there. And just see like, hey, we have this situation or this issue has come up within the family. How could we work on that? And honestly, just see what your kids would say. Maybe it's not a suggestion that you'll take, but it gets them involved in making family decisions. And this can really help either boost that confidence or help them kind of navigate through some emotions. And then again, there is just so many different situations throughout our day where we could then kind of interject and not coach them, because your child really doesn't want to be coached, but you just, they need to know that you're there to support them and to be there when they are having these big emotions come up. And the biggest thing is having them speak when they are in that moment of like very high emotions, or there's other kids involved or whatever. Have them be able and know they have that safe space and time with you. Have your undivided attention if you can. If you can't, make sure to schedule it when it's bedtime, whatever. In the moment, maybe you can't do it, but know that you're giving them your fullest attention for the time that you have. So for me, I've got 2 other children, so it doesn't always happen right in that moment, but then I would like to schedule it later in the day to then like really dive deep into what that emotion was, how did it make them feel, and just kind of ask them questions like that of describing the feeling in their body, maybe what some of the thoughts that they were having. Sometimes it usually will come out that like, I'm not good enough, or they saw another child do something and they were really good at it, and then they don't realize that it maybe took that child a few years to learn how to do something like that. Like that is kind of something I'm working with my oldest, is he thinks he should know how to do something right the first time he tries it. And I know this is something that I've battled with in my own mind as well, right? It's like, you're not good at it, even though you tried it once. And it's like gently reminding them that we have to practice and repetition, and like we have to do things over and over again in order to be better at it. That's why we're here, right? This is the whole point of this work, is to get better at it within ourselves, which then we can model towards our children. So those are kind of my suggestions or tips towards helping kind of bring this into your own child and what they could then start doing on their own. And honestly, like make that space quiet time at night. Like my son's not always tired after we read a book and we say our good nights. So it's like maybe that could be his time to kind of run his day through his mind and all that stuff. And then it gives you as the parent the opportunity to kind of prompt different questions of like, what did you really love about your day? What was something that you wish you could have done better at, or that you didn't love, or whatever. There's just so many different things that we can bring in, which gets them thinking. And that is key because we want our kids to think and to understand about what the question is that we're asking them, and to think and reflect on their day, their behavior. And if there has been a situation where there is a meltdown and there's something that needs to be chatted about, get them to reflect on how they feel they maybe acted in the situation. Like, I'm no parenting coach by any means, but I'm just sharing what I feel has worked for us because we've done the things that haven't worked. And that's been very clear that they have not worked. And then we've kind of just like shifted things to see what is going to work. And honestly, we've just tried it. That's all you can do is try something. So if you have a great suggestion that you think has worked really well with your child, go ahead and share it. Like, people will be able to kind of see more of this on this video. If you're watching the recording or maybe in Facebook, go and share it because that might help somebody else navigate an emotion with their child as well, or a situation that is bringing high emotion, all the things, right? So that's why we're here. We're here to work together and like coach and help each other, right? Like, that's the whole point of doing this and coming together as this community, because that is honestly what brought me to this work and what made me stay. It didn't make me stay. I got to stay because I loved it so much, because of the community and the sharing and the mastermind. Like, there's just so much back and forth of stuff that I get to learn every day, or I get to teach someone. And it might be something that I just, so simple to me and that I say, but yet it resonates so much deeper with someone else. And that's the same way. Like, I'm going to pull things out of what I'm listening to or someone I'm talking to that are going to resonate with me, but it might have been something that, like, in their mind wasn't a big deal, right? So that is the kind of cool part about this work. But hopefully you enjoyed this. If you have any other suggestions that have really helped you with your children or child, then please share, because we can always help and bring together some more other different topics that I haven't talked about, or different suggestions, right? So that's all I have. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.